Ready to love life? Join me on a transformative journey with Tantra. I'm Tara Rose, inviting you to say yes to the present moment. Tantra is more than sex. It's a spiritual path using the body for expansion. In our sessions, we explore bliss and emotional pain, ignite your life force energy, and create a safe space for growth. I guide women, men, and couples, in person or online, blending traditional and neo-tantra. This can be a profound journey to recognize your true self. Book a discovery call at tararose.net, that's TARAROSE, or message on WhatsApp 076 5355 949. Tantra with Tara Rose. Activate, nourish, and enrich your mind, body, and spirit.
Hi, my name is Annika. Do you know that feeling of having intimacy with another or with yourself and just not feeling fulfilled? So the question is, do you really know what you want? Do you know how a yes feels in your body and how a no feels in your body? And really from your body and not from a rational headspace. And are you completely aware of how do you want to be touched? And how do you want to touch another? And if you do so, how do you communicate this in a clear and loving way? This and other topics I'm covering in my workshops, and I look forward to welcoming you there. Find me on Facebook or Insta with my name Annika Lip, ANNIKALIPP, or contact me via WhatsApp 079 3517 864.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent or that of the program, its presenters, hosts, directors, or other team members.
This show is intended for audiences aged 23 and older. This production and its digital copies contain content of an adult nature. If you are easily offended or are under the age of 18, this show is not intended for you. The posts, pages, and recordings within are intended for adults only and may include descriptions of scenes of sexual content, suggestive opinions, detailed discussions, and graphic topics. Listener discretion is advised.
Passionate pollies and sultry swingers, it's time for Lola's Lifestyle Lectures on your favorite seduction station, Lust FM, for the lustful listeners.
That didn't work as it was supposed to. Good evening, lustfuls. I mean, what is starting a new damn season without a little bit of not pressing the buttons right? Welcome to the first episode of season 2 in Lola's Lifestyle Lectures, your favorite nighttime talk show focused on educating and guiding and helping you navigate swinging and ethical non-monogamy. I'd like to start off by mentioning our associated endorsement site, Zenites. The Zenites website, guys, has combined socials, events, parties, workshops for all walks of life and like-minded individuals. The Zenites website is a quality South African community of unique, fun, uninhibited people who enjoy life to the fucking fullest. They are into casual dating, social networking, open relationships, and alternative lifestyles with an extensive amount of social platforms for us adults to connect on. Zenite makes finding these quality connections easy, affordable, and accessible. If you guys want to join the Zenites community, head on over to www.zenites.com and explore countless possibilities. Then, of course, our endorsement site, the CIF. Yes, guys, you know them. Lola's favorite friends at the Council of Fantasy. What always blows my mind, right, is I'm looking at these numbers and there's 1,900 of you folk like listening out there right now. At this very moment, 1,900 listening. Where the hell are you guys and why aren't you on the CIF? This is what Lola wants to know. The Council of Fantasy is a lifestyle-oriented community. We cater for BDSM, lifestylers, and everybody that is somewhere in between. If you want to learn more about sex positivity, if you want to connect with Lola, come say hi on the CIF, okay? We host events in all spectrums. We're an all-inclusive community, and the only shame we shame is shame itself. One of the main focuses of the CIF is education and sex positivity, BDSM, lifestyle, anything and everything. I mean, there's even a women's empowerment group. You guys can find us at www.counciloffantasy.co.za, or you guys can head on over to Lola's website, Lelust FM. That's www. Yes, it's a double L because we love Lelustfuls. www.lelustfm.live. And find the link to the WhatsApp community right at the bottom of the home screen. Just click on that little WhatsApp icon and then come and say hi to us on the CIF. Your it's a night. Your Lola Blakely production moderators for this evening are Miss Big Red, Miss Inferno, Zane, and we have a slight change in production management this evening and for the season going forward. Congratulations, Medusa. I mean, this production manager has been on my ass all day. Okay, my phone hasn't stopped fucking ringing. My messages haven't stopped pouring in. And Medusa's on my ass. She's Medusaing the shit out of me today. So she's our production manager for this season. If you guys see them in the chat, if you see them posting a bunch of socials there, they have to keep us safe and engaged with our listeners. During the airing, feel free to ask them questions, send them a wave, send them a hello, send them a damn donut. These guys are hungry. Now for some exciting news. Okay, this is the exciting part of the evening because you guys have possibly already heard like a here from the side because the two of them are sick. For the first half of the season, okay, I mean, Lola loves doing everything in extremes, right? So we don't have one co-host for Lola's lifestyle lectureship because we love groupies. Don't we? We're doing the groupie shit, okay? You guys know them, you guys love them. It's Mr. and Mrs. Twosome. I had to beg them for the longest time. Guys, I had to beg you.
No, you didn't.
You lie.
Hi, everybody.
James and Debbie have joined the production team for the first half of Lifestyle Lectures as the co-host. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to be doing like swapsies with me for weeks. So 1 week's going to be Debbie and Lola. Next week's going to be James and Lola. And we are going to kill the shit out of ethical non-monogamy because we have an exciting season planned for the lot of you. Then after the 10 weeks of swingers, we are going to be doing 10 weeks of polys. So KB, she's not gone, guys. She's coming back. She will be back. She's not far away. She'll be my co-host for the next, for the following 11 to 12 to 20 weeks, where we're going to navigate and explore poly and all of the polycule shit. Right. Tonight is episode 1 of season 2, and it's titled Conversation on the Playground. And to help us navigate this playground rules, we've got a great guest this evening. But before we even get to the guest, because the guest is still not online, so Medusa, if you can maybe just call the guest there and tell her that we're waiting for her in the room. And while we're doing that, I'm going to greet our lovely co-host and thank him for finally accepting. Yes, there we go. Never mind. Don't call her. She's calling us, and she's in. There we go. But while we're waiting for Debbie and James, guys, welcome. Tonight you guys are doing it together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
For a change.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Nice to be back.
Sorry if it does sound like we've got frogs in our throats because we're not feeling too well.
I mean, they've been sitting here, right? Lola's studios at the house. So they've been visiting for a while, since like 7-ish, right? And you can see these two are really sick. Like, you guys are really sick. You guys really don't feel well. So I want to thank you for coming all this way and still doing the show and still doing the airing. It just shows the dedication that we're going to be seeing for the rest of the season.
It's our pleasure.
For you, Lola, anything.
Oh, you guys make my heart melt. We love it. So this evening we said we've got, how are we, Debbie, James, how are we feeling about this conversation topic that we've got tonight?
It's a very important part of the whole lifestyle.
It's one of the most important steps that a couple can
Yeah.
take.
Mm.
It's the
It's where it
beginning
all
of the
starts.
journey.
Yeah.
It's that first step.
And you guys know the guest this evening as well, right?
Yes.
We do.
So,
And we
okay.
all love her.
We missed her last season.
Yes.
So this is another one of those secrets that Lola didn't let anybody know up until this live airing right now. We've got our fabulous Dr. M back with the production team as of this season. Last season, she was missing in action. She wasn't doing too good, but she's back, and listen, guys, she's back with a fucking vengeance. Dr. Marina Besson, or Dr. M as we know her, obtained her PhD from NWU in sociology. Dr. M did her master's in medical sociology with a clinical in group dynamics and her bachelorette in forensic psychology. These are just a couple of Dr. M's qualifications because listen, if I have to call and name out all of her qualifications, we'll be here all night and we won't have a show. Dr. M's PhD was done on ethical non-monogamy and the effect of consensual non-monogamy on the martial well-being and satisfaction among South African couples. In conjunction to being an intimacy coach, Dr. M is also a Reiki master and she's a life coaching master. Well, she's a life coach. Dr. M is currently employed by UJ as a research associate, and that in itself is a massive achievement. Dr. M has also decided to launch a comprehensive intimacy coaching syllabus in the next 4 weeks, which is approved by the HSCPA, Association for Supportive Counselors and Holistic Practitioners. I mean, Lola's enrolled. That's the word I'm looking for. Lola enrolled with him, so if I can do it, you guys can do it too. Associated wellness is the levels consist of associated wellness intimacy coach, and a specialist wellness intimacy coach. So let's see all of you guys on level 3 and see if we can beat Lola at them. Without further ado, let's say hello to this evening's fabulous guest, Dr. M. Thank you for joining us again, and we welcome you with open arms back to the season.
Hello, Lola. Hello, Debbie and James. Very sorry to hear that
Dr.
you're not
M.
feeling so great. Sending you lots of Reiki energy.
Oh,
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
They're not feeling too well, I must say. They've really been soldiers. So, like I said earlier, this is obviously an indication of the dedication. We've got a dedicated
We
team.
wouldn't miss this.
So, Dr. M, this evening's conversation, this evening we're having a conversation about conversations, right? Tell us how important or why do we start an ethical non-monogamous relationship with conversations? Where do we start? What do we do? Let's hear from Dr. M. Let her do the coaching.
Okay, well, James pretty much nailed it when he said that it's the most important conversation that you need to have with your partner. So, for me, as a practicing coach, when couples come to me and ask or tell me that they want to engage in consensual non-monogamy, I really open my ears to what they're saying. And the first question that I like to ask is, why? Why do you want to go into consensual non-monogamy? And I just want to make it clear to all the listeners, I am not against consensual non-monogamy. I'm not promoting consensual non-monogamy. As a coach, I play devil's advocate. I look at it from all sides and make sure that the couple is a good fit for the lifestyle that they are wanting to enter. Okay, and tonight just happens to be the side of consensual non-monogamy that people don't look into because they see all the bells and whistles and nice things, and they don't always consider the alternative side. So asking people, why do you want? Why? The couple must be honest. Is it because I don't love my partner anymore? Well, that's a red flag to start off with. Is it because I'm bored? Then I need to ask the question, is there anything that you can do to change the boredom? Have you tried other possibilities? Because remember, consensual non-monogamy is not for everybody. And people have misconceptions about what it can do for your marriage and for your relationship. Okay.
Completely agree. We've heard it many times before in the lifestyle from couples who, when we approach them about how they got into the lifestyle or why they're in the lifestyle, the word boredom creeps in quite a bit of those conversations, and
We want excitement.
It's a red flag for us if that's the opening line that a couple has that's curious about the lifestyle.
And Dr. M, what
Yes.
you were mentioning, have you tried anything else to, create excitement? What type of things can couples do other than just going into the lifestyle?
Well, then we first got to start looking into, are they happy in their own skin and in their own body? And then we can ask questions like, have you tried bringing in toys? Have you tried bringing in kink? Have you tried doing sexy photographs in the bedroom? Have you tried something that will rekindle the intimacy between you and the excitement for the sexual act? Because most people are damn right lazy. They go, they plonk on the bed, they look like starfish, and they go, and I, whoops, wops, clear coffee, and cookies. Well, of course, you're going to be bored. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that they don't snore on the job.
And also, if you can't have excitement between you and your partner, what's the use of going into the lifestyle? Because you're going to be just as not exciting for other people.
Exactly. And the minute I hear the word we want excitement or spice, I still have to ask the question, how do you feel about your partner? And does your partner still turn you on? Are you using the term, I need excitement, as a crutch to be or not to be honest with your partner about, you don't turn me on anymore. You don't shave your beard. You've got prickly things on your face, or you don't clean your fingernails, or there's always something, and that's why discourse is very important
Crutch
in
for his
coaching.
crotch. Yeah.
The crutch, yeah. And so that we have to ask these questions, and couples don't do that because it's easy not to address the elephant in the room, and let's just go and make a zoo somewhere else. And the problem is that these people that get into consensual non-monogamy for the wrong reasons are the ones that create drama for practicing
Yes.
non-monogamous people,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
they bring all sorts of havoc into the
Yeah.
mix, and it's
If
not
you're not
necessary.
in love with your partner, you shouldn't be doing this.
We've
No.
often said we've said to many couples that we've spoken to that were curious that you need to have a very solid foundation in your own relationship before you try the lifestyle. If there's any cracks in your relationship, those cracks will only be tested by the lifestyle. They'll never get fixed by the
It
lifestyle.
makes it so much worse, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Yes.
it's like people trying to they decide let's have a baby because our marriage is not great.
Listen, yeah, it makes it so much
It
worse.
doesn't fix it.
It
It
does.
makes it
It
worse.
makes it worse. And I've had a lot of conversations with couples over the past couple of and there's actually one specific couple that I had this conversation with about having conversations. That wanted to go into ethical non-monogamy. They want to become swingers. They want to swing. And they asked me a question. I was like, but hold on, haven't you guys discussed this amongst the two of you? Why are you asking me? Okay, I can't answer this for you. Have you asked your partner? Like these conversations, you need to find out where you are in your partnership and like Dr. M saying why you want to be doing this in the first place before even considering being a swinger. A lot of these people just want to swing to get their dicks wet or whatever the alternative to that is or the opposite to that is, but they're not considering the fact that you're gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna hurt your partner, you're gonna end up losing whatever you guys have because you haven't been conversating. You
And
haven't been doing the most basic of human things, and that's having a conversation.
Correct.
but
Yeah. In point of
possibly
fact, I think.
destroying,
Sorry,
sorry,
Doctor, carry on.
possibly destroying someone else's relationship because you bring your
Yes,
own
Yeah, that's
insecurities
until
absolutely.
in.
The lifestyle should be drama free. I don't
yeah.
want. I don't even want drama in my life. I
Mm,
don't want other people's drama in my life.
mm.
Absolutely not.
But you see,
What were
that's
you gonna
why
say, Doc?
going to a coach is so important. A coach that specializes in the field of consensual non-monogamy, because these people are trained to assess whether the couple is ready and a good fit for a lifestyle. Whether you want consensual non-monogamy, whether you want kink, whether you want poly, doesn't matter. A coach is trained to understand the keywords, the discourse, to analyze the discourse and
Mm,
understand, wait, hold on, this what these people are saying is not a good fit. So let's take it a step back again and start understanding. Maybe it's a relationship problem. Maybe it's a image problem. Maybe it's an ego
mm,
problem. You know, women in particular, when they start hitting the age of 40, 45, all sorts of imbalances happen in their brains and in their bodies and everything. So, is the woman doing this to still prove her own sexual prowess? And if she
mm,
is, what is she going to do to the wife of the partner she's going to pick? Is she
mm.
going to destroy her because she's acting all a Wonder Woman there? Do you understand? And
Yes.
these are the conversations that need to be done, and not only between the couple, they need to be mediated. Someone with an understanding of the lifestyle and an understanding of human sexual behavior must be there to say, hold on, listen to what you're saying. You want to do this because you still want to prove you Wonder Woman. Why? Why do you want to prove it to or with somebody else? Why aren't you proving it to your own partner? Why don't you ride him like a bronco? Why do you want to go ride someone else's husband like a bronco? Do you understand?
Yeah, the
It's,
couple needs to have fully explored themselves first, totally and
yes,
wholly, before they want to explore somebody else.
Mm.
yes,
I think that's
absolutely.
something that a lot of people are not doing, right? And this also, it's not just about exploring your partner, but exploring yourself as well.
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
before people even consider having a conversation, like before we even have conversations, have you really conversated with yourself?
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you explored yourself and your wants and your dreams and your aspirations
And
and
your
where
fantasies.
your fantasies and where you are in your relationship before even asking where your partner is in your relationship, or before even exploring your partner's fantasies?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, are we even considering these things?
Yes. But you see, again, that is the problem because people become complacent in their relationships. I know when I get home at 5 o'clock, wifey would have cooked, the food will be on the table. We're going to have a discussion about the kids' school, da 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 da. We're going to get into the bath, we're going to get into bed. And there's nothing, they themselves are no longer living authentically in their own passion. They
It's
have
like in a
become
routine.
And you forgot about we either watch TV or we on our phones, chatting
yes.
to other people instead of chatting to each other.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why that beginning conversation of why do you want to engage in consensual non-monogamy, that is the most important question you will ever be able to ask anybody. And based on what they say from that, you can gauge whether a couple is a good fit for consensual non-monogamy. But then we can take it a step further. So let's just assume we've done the due diligence and the couple is a potential fit for consensual non-monogamy. That still doesn't mean that they must just go to a club and jump into it.
No, of
They
course
will
not.
have to start asking the next set or the next level of questions. So are we going to engage in consensual non-monogamy, and are we going to allow things such as bisexuality? I mean, come on. I did research and I know how the majority of people think regarding bisexuality and same sex. So that is
So let's hear it, because I don't know.
For the most part, heterosexual men are very anti-bisexuality.
Heterosexual. Yes.
Heterosexual men.
Very, yes.
Yes. So bisexuality, and I can't quite prove whether it is because they want to maintain the machoism or whether and they secretly would like to have a bisexual experience, that was raised in my research, or whether it just is I'm hetero and nothing and nobody is going to change my mind. And then we get the converse to that, which is the ladies who are going, oh, I think I need to become a swinger because I want to experience another woman. And that's something that you will never be able to experience in a heterosexual relationship. The logistical dynamics don't make sense. No? So that's one of the first questions. So now we're starting to understand, okay, so the spice and the variety that they're asking for is to experience something bisexual. So maybe she's bi-curious, maybe there's something else going on there. Then the next question, and also very imperative, is your level of jealousy. How are you going to react the first time you see your partner with somebody else? And you mustn't say,
Absolutely.
"Ooh, sexy," because then I'm telling you straight off the cuff, don't go there. Don't go there because you haven't considered what you're talking about. No?
Yes.
Think about the impact. Here is a heterosexual monogamous couple, probably in their 40s, because most swingers start engaging in consensual non-monogamy from the age of 40 plus. And this is worldwide. We've established that worldwide in various researches. So now you've got a couple that's been together for almost 20 years or so, maybe a bit longer if they were school sweethearts. And now for the first time, they are going to watch each other with somebody else. Hey, what is that going
Without
to do
knowing
to
how they're
you?
going to feel about it. Yes.
Exactly. Have they even considered, have they taken a step back and saying, listen, if I see my husband kissing another woman, I think I'm going to cut his head off with a samurai sword. I mean, bloody hell.
It goes a little deeper than that as well, Dr. M. It's happened from my experience anyway, that the couples have had that discussion, and they have spoken about it, and they've come to terms with the feelings that they believe that they may
They
have.
think they might be okay
And,
with it.
and they have that first encounter, and the encounter's nice for both of them, and they want a second encounter, which goes well. And then they have a third encounter, and they meet a completely different couple where, let's just say, the husband of the other couple is extremely talented, and the wife has more orgasms and screams louder than she's ever screamed in their 20 years of marriage. and that brings about a whole different set of feelings for the husband. And we've encountered that before in the lifestyle, and the couple that we've spoken to um, confided in us just how awkward it felt for them, and it almost drew them out of the lifestyle, having been in for already for like 8 to 9 months. So there's a lot of different conversations that need to happen before you explore.
Yes, but that's one of the questions that I've got here that we need to talk about is how do you navigate if one partner is uncomfortable in the couple or the duo that you're engaging with? Do you not engage with a couple? Do you say, okay, well, I'll engage with the man or the woman and you can go find somebody else? Do you have a safe word? Do they even know how to deal with those emotions? And did they discuss beforehand what level of, how do you say, comfort for both of them during that encounter? Because that's what's
What are their
happening.
limits?
Yes, that's what's happening. So now you're experiencing all these feelings and sensations during the throes of passion with your partner and your or with your swing partner, and your partner got this suck artables, and it's like, holy hell, what are we going to do here? Did they speak to each other to say, listen, if I raise my pinky toe, it means I'm uncomfortable. I need you to please
Yes.
reconsider. Let's cut
Yes.
the session
Always
now.
have a safe phrase.
Yes. But they don't. They go in there going, oh, stars and stripes and bangles and bells and I don't know what. And we're just going to have this amazing sex. And then they come out of it disturbed and the relationship challenged because I don't know how to deal with these emotions.
Yes.
I think what people need to realize also is we aren't always just going to have one conversation, right? Conversations are going to be reoccurring. It
Continuously.
has to be communicate, conversate continuously, communicate, conversate continuously, communicate, conversate continuously. And why do we do this? Because you got to set up your framework, you got to navigate your own negotiation, and you got to set up your own contract. So these are kink terms that we're now seeing that needs to come into ethical non-monogamy. But the swingers just call it something else. They call it, what is our rules? You know,
Yes,
in the
limits.
lifestyle.
Limits.
What are our limits in the lifestyle? So it's the same thing. We just call it something else. And these conversations need to continuously happen. Now you've had like you guys are saying, you guys have had like this experience. People are not happy. Let's renegotiate.
Yeah.
Let's renegotiate our terms. Let's conversate about it again.
And
let's bring this up again.
yeah, and also talk about it. And when one is upset and the other one had a good experience, you have to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it.
What is this thing? Dr. M, what did you say when we spoke? Was it last night or the night before? Where you said there's a certain phrase when you said like 100% honesty. What was it?
Yes, you have to be authentic. You have to be 100%
Authentically
candid.
honest. Authentic
Candid,
honesty. Yes.
yes. But you know what the problem also is? Couples don't debrief properly. They don't.
Debriefing there.
Yes, they don't, after the experience, come together and say, you know what, Lovey, I really enjoyed this person I was with tonight because he sucked my toes, for instance. And it's something you never do. Maybe we can explore that. They don't debrief, or they don't say what they enjoyed and what they didn't enjoy. They would rather keep quiet for fear of what the other person may say or how the partner may react. And there is a red flag, because if you are having these experiences with third parties and you are not able to debrief honestly, openly, and candidly, then you're already going to start keeping secrets from each other. And then you already lose the
Absolutely.
couple.
Don't laugh, Dr. M. When Debbie and I started out on this adventure, we used to keep a little black book and we used to write down the details of every encounter.
That's so cute.
There was, I shit you not, there was scores out of 10 for technique of this technique.
No.
How they made us feel.
No.
And we often
I love it.
we had the book for about a year, and then we
It just
became
became
The
too much
admin.
work.
Well, I mean, these swingers swang apparently.
The point I'm trying to make by raising that is that we would analyze each play date and talk about our feelings, what Debbie felt good about, what she didn't enjoy, what she wanted more of, what she wanted less of, anything that I may have done during the encounter that made her feel slightly off-centered, or maybe not having been attended to by me or by the other husband perfectly. From the outset, I only ever wanted every experience that we went into to be perfect for both of us and for our relationship. So we would dissect every single encounter just to make sure that we learned from anything that wasn't perfect.
Awesome. You know what?
I want to read that book, sorry.
So do we.
No, Lola, you can't read that.
Oh, listen, that's terrible. I wanted such a loss for the life of Lola. I don't read, but I would have fucking read that.
No, man, that's amazing. I think that's awesome. It's a beautiful way to understand the process, the experience, the encounter, and what it brings for you and into your relationship. I enjoyed this. I didn't enjoy that. I would like us to try this. So it's a dynamic that also includes learning and understanding and intimacy, because you got to talk and communicate.
I mean, at the end of the day, the whole point of entering into the lifestyle is to enhance and grow and strengthen your own relationship. That's how we see it, at least.
You know what? For couples that are a good fit for consensual non-monogamy, absolutely. There are many, many benefits. So my research showed that there are tremendous benefits to consensual non-monogamy. But for couples that are not a good fit, consensual non-monogamy can have the absolute opposite effect. It can destroy a relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Another thing that couples don't do, and what they don't discuss, is how many people are they willing to engage with, and how often are they going to engage with these people. Because now we find, and my research clearly showed that in Europe, couples tend to have, one of the people that I interviewed had a phrase, shag and release. So I shag you. I don't know your name. I don't know your history. That's it. That we're done with. And that seems to be the trend in Europe. South Africa has a very interesting dynamic, and I'm not sure whether it's the Afrikaner culture. I don't know at this point. But South African swingers tend to become house friends. So we shag.
It's the Brian Swy.
Exactly.
Bry, Swy, and Swy.
Brian Swy, no, that's what it is.
So now you must remember, now we are mixing the consensual non-monogamy swinging ethos with a polyamorous twist. And where do you draw the line? How does the couple feel about that? Because now you're not only engaging in sex with a third party, that third party is becoming part of your household.
Yeah, there's emotion attached to it now.
Big time.
I mean, now we're bringing the poly people into the swingers. We can't be doing this shit.
But the swingers say they're not poly, no? Remember that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that's what that. Yeah.
To be clear, from our side, Too Simple Fun, we subscribe to the shag and release.
We don't want to come to your house for a house braai every second weekend. We don't want to chat to you every day on the phone. We don't want to ask you in the morning, how did you sleep? Or how was your day at the end of the day?
What are you cooking?
For us, it also takes the excitement out of it, because we have each other. We have conversations with each other. We don't want to have this vanilla type friendship conversations with other people every day. It takes the excitement out of it for us. So yeah, we don't do the braai and you are our best friends thing.
Yeah, we find if we start developing friendship feelings towards a couple, it does start to blur the lines of fuckability.
Yeah,
if
we have in fact become friends with people, and then there's no more swinging. You either are friends or you are a swinging couple that we meet up with. So yeah,
My research showed that as well, that in some instances, swingers that have become friends, that have crossed the social boundaries, that the swinging diminishes. But in other instances as well, the swinging, there's no distinction between the swinging and the friends. There's going to weddings, it's going to brides, it's going to children's christenings, or it's just a big mush. And then you have to ask yourself the question before you engage in this: how are you going to deal with this? How are you going to deal with the third parties in your home and as part of your social circle? Where do you start drawing the distinctions? And couples don't do that. And when they find themselves in the situation of, hold on, we are now actually lekker kuier buddies, and now we're also going to be swingers. How do you deal with that? Where do they start drawing the distinction? And couples don't ask those questions.
I think geography also has a lot to do with it, and not the school subject, but the actual geography and location of where the couples find themselves. Couples that we've spoken to that are in smaller communities where the prevalence of swinging is far less statistically than in the big cities. If they do find a couple that they enjoy, they get on, the aesthetics are there, the chemistry is there, then they do form a closer bond than the majority of the couples that we've spoken to that are in the bigger cities, only because it's difficult to find people that you're comfortable with and people that you can swing with. So they do end up becoming friends. And I think that could be something to explore as a subject all on its own, because the rules are different in a small town.
It's very secretive, and you're so scared that somebody else is going to find out about it.
So when you do find a swinging couple that you like, who's also as paranoid as you are, you hang on to them, and that's it. That's just my take. Obviously, research could be done on it.
You're completely correct. It is in the smaller towns, and also because the smaller towns, they are scared of the skinnerbacker. So they do tend to be more discreet, even in their social interactions. They don't tend to be as open as what the bigger city social interactions will be, where people are just more free to talk. They do reserve themselves because of the stigma that's attached to consensual non-monogamy. So the other thing that couples also don't talk about before they engage in consensual non-monogamy is, are we allowing singles into this dynamic? Because that comes with its own set of problems.
So here's the thing, right? We gotta go to a short commercial break. Before we continue on what problems singles and couples in a swingers relationship bring, let's go to a short commercial break, and then when we come back, we can hear more about Dr. M's amazing, informative lesson on how to navigate, conversate, negotiate, all of these lack of things. Masturbate. No, we're not doing masturbation now. That's on Lola's lessons. Tune in for that one. You've been robbed. Listen, you know Miss Carmen, Ellie will have your neck if you steal a episode.
Will she spank me?
Listen, she could keep a key for you too. Carmen's gonna kill me. We love you guys. Let's go to a short commercial break. Give us about 10 minutes and we'll be back shortly.
So you know.
Ready to love life? Join me on a transformative journey with Tantra. I'm Tara Rose, inviting you to say yes to the present moment. Tantra is more than sex. It's a spiritual path using the body for expansion. In our sessions, we explore bliss and emotional pain, ignite your life force energy, and create a safe space for growth. I guide women, men, and couples, in person or online, blending traditional and neo-tantra. This can be a profound journey to recognize your true self. Book a discovery call at tararose.net, that's TARAROSE, or message on WhatsApp 076 5355 949. Tantra with Tara Rose. Activate, nourish, and enrich your mind, body, and spirit.
Hi, my name is Annika. Do you know that feeling of having intimacy with another or with yourself and just not feeling fulfilled? So the question is, do you really know what you want? Do you know how a yes feels in your body and how a no feels in your body? And really from your body and not from a rational headspace? And are you completely aware of how do you want to be touched? And how do you want to touch another? And if you do so, how do you communicate this in a clear and loving way? This and other topics I'm covering in my workshops, and I look forward to welcoming you there. Find me on Facebook or Insta with my name Annika Lip, ANNIKALIPP, or contact me via WhatsApp 079 3517 864.
And yes, we are back. I hope you guys all didn't refill your drinks. Let's not be drinking on a Wednesday night. I know it's public holiday, but let's not be drinking on a Wednesday night because tomorrow's work. Lustful listeners, I'm so sorry to break it to you, but if you guys had a lovely day, off day today, tomorrow's back to school, back to reality, and now it's back to the show. So we went on a slight commercial break. I mean, Lola had to tinkle, and Mr. James had to cough. Miss Debbie had to wipe her nose because these two are sick, and they're gonna make me sick, but it's okay. We love them still. We are joined on air this evening with the esteemed, and there's not enough beskrywende naamwoorde om hierdie vrou te beskryf nie. Okay, with the amazing Dr. M. Dr. M obtained her PhD from NU in sociology. She did her master's in medical sociology with a clinical in group dynamics and her bachelor's in forensic psychology. These are just a couple of Dr. M's qualifications, right? Dr. M's PhD, the PhD was done on ethical non-monogamy and the effects of consensual non-monogamy on the martial well-being and satisfaction among South African couples. In conjunction to being an intimacy coach, Dr. M is also a Reiki master and a life coach. Dr. M is currently employed by UJ as a research associate. She's launching a comprehensive intimacy coaching syllabus in the next 4 weeks. Lola's already subscribed there, so I mean, you guys can come and join us too. Come learn how to be an intimacy coach if that's up your alley. Which is this whole coaching syllabus is approved by the HSCPA. The HSCPA is the Association for Supportive Counselors and Holistic Practitioners, with the following designations: Associated Wellness Intimacy Coach, Wellness Intimacy Coach, and a Specialist Wellness Intimacy Coach. So you guys can actually come and get certified with us. While we were on production break, Miss Carmen Ellie, I love when this woman is online. She just makes my knees weak. So does Medusa, but we both know that they're already wifeyed up. So don't go search them on socials. They belong to me. Miss Carmen Ellie asked Dr. M, she wants to know, I would like to know how many single women have successful long-term relationships with couples. So how many unicorns have successful long-term relationships? This is actually a very interesting question. And I also want to know this shit. How many, listen to this woman being so interested in swingers. Listen, madam, you aren't a swinger. Also, I'm watching you. Dr. M, Ms. Common wants to know, how many unicorns have successful relationships with couples in this lifestyle?
I haven't seen statistics on it, but I can tell you from my research and my research participants. So it does happen that they do have good relationships with the couples that they get into, but invariably we find that these relationships do dwindle at some point, and the same goes for the bulls. It goes on, it's on a high for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then at some point it dwindles, either because the unicorn or bull finds somebody else, or the couple move into a different life phase, or they move away, or something invariably happens. So they don't always live happily ever after. I haven't seen statistics, by the way, and I've actually researched quite a bit on this. I haven't seen statistics, but invariably when singles are involved with couples, there is a ebb and a flow, and we find that it works for a period of time and then it diminishes, unless they turn poly.
Like most things, there's an expiration date.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
had a very good relationship with the unicorn for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it worked well. It was a lovely symbiotic relationship that the three of us had, and it just ran its course eventually. And we were grateful for her time, and she was for ours, and we parted ways, and we will never forget. But the expiration date came, and it went.
Yes. My research
I mean,
shows
I don't think a single woman in the lifestyle. This is just my personal opinion, and I'm no expert on the matter, right? But I don't think a single woman in the lifestyle should be searching for a couple to have a long-term relationship with. If it's just sex you're after, I don't think it's a good idea to have just that. Well,
You need to think of it from a safety perspective. I think a lot of the single females that we've spoken to,
Safety and comfort.
yeah, they feel more comfortable knowing that they don't want a relationship. They might be, pursuing their career. They might be studying. They might not have the amount of time on their hands to nurse a relationship the way that a relationship needs to be nursed if you want to have a healthy and fulfilling sex life. So for them, it's a shortcut way to an orgasm. It's a shortcut method to get the jollies that you need every other week or every other month without the complication. You send a message to the couple to say, I'm horny, what are you guys doing tomorrow? And there's no expectations, there's no feelings about it. It's a sexual act, and that's it. Once everyone's had their jollies, everyone goes their separate ways, and there's no remorse, there's no guilt. It's just clean cut. It's works for everybody.
Yes, but that is what your single is there for. They are actually the toy to the couple. And in return, they get, as you term it, their jollies.
But I mean, it needs to be a symbiotic relationship. It obviously can't be one-sided.
No.
The single needs to get what they need out of the fulfillment that they need out of the contract. Quite
Yes. Yes, they do. That's why, when everyone is in or on the same page and on the same experiential level, so everyone will be enjoying it. But you're completely correct in saying that once she's had her jollies, she's off. And the couple have had their jolly with her, whatever it is, whether it's a bisexual encounter, a threesome, whatever it is that they're doing, and then it's done with. And she can continue with her life, and they can then just re-engage when they're ready.
Yeah, the feeling that we got with the unicorns that we've engaged with over the years is they just don't have the time to commit to a relationship. And there's a safety factor on going out on so many blind dates with guys where really all you want is your sexual needs taken care of. And it's just a matter of convenience.
Absolutely.
You've got it's on now. No, it's off now. There we go. It's good.
There definitely is a space for singles, but it's also up, my research showed that people labeled the singles as troublemakers. And I have
That's
to beg.
what I've heard too, y'all.
Okay, but I have to beg the question here. So if you're blaming the single, it takes two to tango. So what are you doing to do or to promote the dissatisfaction in it? Are you crossing your own rules and your own boundaries by getting too emotionally attached to the single person? Have you lost focus of what the point was in getting a single person into the relationship?
In the first place.
It is a two-way street. It's easier to cross lines with a single person because there is no one governing them. There's not a wife or a husband holding the reins and going, no, come back a little bit, take a step back. So it is easier, and maybe that is why they are perceived as troublesome. But it really does take two to tango. And this is why I asked the question. Are you going to allow singles into the relationship? And what are the dynamics governing that? Who is going to be the brake pad when one partner sees that the other partner is becoming too attached, too committed to the single? And how are they going to react when the single finds the next couple that they play with? Or maybe even develops a relationship of their own outside of this relationship, a committed relationship where they find their own partner. How are you going to deal with that?
Yeah, I think the saying is familiarity breeds contempt. And we've heard from some of the unicorns that they've had absolutely amazing encounters with a couple, and the relationship has gone on for 5, 6, 7 months, and then the couple has turned around and said to them, well, you exclusively ours now. We don't want you seeing any single guys or any other couples. And that's their exit flag. They get scared off when couples start to try and renegotiate halfway through a contract.
Does that happen?
It does.
Mm.
It does.
And also it happens where the single person decides that she's developing feelings for, either the husband or the wife in this relationship, and that that means that it has to end, because
Yes.
that's not what the couple is in the lifestyle for. They don't want emotions involved.
No drama.
Yeah.
But you see, that is why couples, before they enter consensual non-monogamy, need to ask these questions. They need to be sure how they're going to deal it, because it's very easy to have the conversation and say, okay, if one of us gets too attached to the single, then we're just going to call it. No, emotions don't work that way. Who is going to be the break on that thing? And this is what couples don't discuss, and they don't discuss what the breaking point is. So this is non-negotiable in our deal. They
And I
don't
think
do
a lot
that.
of
They
the
don't set the boundaries.
I think a lot of the time as well, because the unicorn is aptly named because so hard to find and difficult to track down. When a couple does find a single lady that ticks all the boxes for them in terms of character and aesthetics and all the rest of it, they want to hold on to that person for love or money, because they've looked for so long to find somebody that ticked all those boxes. They end up smothering them, and I think that's a lot of the problems that we've heard from unicorns, where couples fall down is they get too overbearing and a little bit too smothering.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again,
But where do you draw that line, though?
yeah,
Unicorn
they
needs
have
to set the ground rules right at the beginning. The couple needs to agree, and there needs to be three ways communication. The contract needs to be sound, and obviously not a formal contract unless you that way inclined. But everybody needs to be in agreement with what the outcome is. I mean, the whole act of swinging is outcomes based. So whatever the outcome is that you want, everybody agrees. And when one party starts deviating, it's time to either pull out or renegotiate.
Yeah. So with James and me, so I mean, we've got rules in place that safeguards our relationship. So, for instance, we've got an extra phone that we call our naughty phone, and all communication happens on there. So we don't give out our private numbers. So every single chat that happens on that phone. We both have access to it, and whether it's a couple, whether it's a single, they don't have access to one of us only. And that is our way of safeguarding our relationship. So if somebody wants to cross that line, it's goodbye.
And that was part of the contract that we negotiated very early on in our adventure.
Yeah.
So we were fortunate to have been guided into the lifestyle by a mentor couple who had been doing it for many years, and they were very candid with us and very open about their experiences, both positive and negative. And rather than just dismiss the negative experiences as a horror story, we actually took it to heart to say, shit, what can we do to make sure something like that doesn't happen to us?
Let's learn from their mistakes.
And we've applied that, and it's worked well for us.
But you see, now we're getting back to where this whole conversation originated, is to seek a coach to guide you through this, and not look at everything through rose-colored glasses and just see all the sex and orgasms, but it's also to go back to the fundamentals of the groundworks for the couple, their ability to communicate, their ability to be emotionally mature in the relationship, and to say, this is my line. This is where we may not cross. So if we're going to enter consensual non-monogamy, which is what you did, you had a mentor, they gave you the information, and you could make informed decisions. But for many couples, and I see it in my practice, they don't make informed decisions. They're too scared to broach these questions. They're too scared to ask the question because they fear what their partner's reaction will be. And that in itself is a red flag for me a million times over. Then I'm like, okay, but what's going on here? Is there coercion or whatever the case may be?
Also,
So
what we've found is That very initial conversation is always the hardest one. Somebody has to raise it. They have to raise the topic,
Yes.
and 9 times out of 10, it's the husband.
Yes.
So getting an affirmative reply to a very difficult question is a huge win psychologically. I mean, the gentleman would have been stewing over this question in some instances for years, waiting for the right moment or opportunity to present it to his beautiful wife, that he wants to see her with another man, or he wants to experience another woman with her, or a couple, whatever it is. And when she agrees, he's so grateful and so worried that now trying to bring rules and regulations into it is going to have her rethink that he's just so happy to just go
Yeah, he just
head
wants to get
first
it going.
head first into the experience. Like, let's get this done now.
She opted
I've,
in,
I've
best
got,
kid swinging.
I've got the green tick. Let's go. And it's difficult to put the brakes on and say, right, so we're in agreement here. Let's workshop a course of action. Let's set up a framework that's going to work for us as a couple. How is it going to build our relationship? What are the potential pitfalls? How are we going to negotiate them? And that's a very very important conversation that needs to happen.
And who can we ask for advice?
Yeah. Which
Exactly.
podcast can we listen to?
Yeah.
Exactly that. Asking for help. I cannot stress that enough. I can go nuts when couples come into my practice, and I can clearly see there's been no communication, no discussion. It was an absolute gat oor kop decision, and then with drama. They're sitting with drama. It's trauma that they instill upon themselves. Okay, let's move on to another question that couples need to talk about. And this one is such a controversial question. Do we play with condoms on? It's one thing to be monogamous and not use contraceptive, such as condoms, with your partner. But how, and couples don't talk about it. And then when something happens, then it's like, but you didn't use a condom, so now you're never coming near me again. But hold on, did you discuss it? Did you say how you wanted it to be done or not done? And it's also important in terms of hygiene. And if you're going to shag and release, do you at least know the couple, or do you have enough understanding of the couple to know whether you are opening yourself up to anything that may not be that pleasant in the long term?
Look, this is very controversial, right? Because I can already, like I can see a bunch of people going, I'm so sick and tired of everybody saying you have to use condom, you have to use condom. Listen, you have to use a condom. Okay, let Lola tell you, you got to use a condom. But there are people that are just like not that way inclined. Some people are maybe just fucking allergies. I don't know. So this is, you were right in saying that this is it is very controversial. I can see the socials blowing up tomorrow.
It's not just the controversy. There's a lot of aspects to condom use in the lifestyle. So some ladies don't like the feel of it. Some guys don't like the feel of it.
Some guys can't stay hard if they have got a condom on it.
And then there's health issues like allergies. So there's ways to mitigate the risk, but it's never going to completely eradicate the risk. I mean, let's be 100% honest, Jade. Even a condom isn't 100% safe. You can still contract something, even if you are protected. And a lot of couples mitigate that risk by doing comprehensive tests prior to play, which in their minds mitigates the risk. If they've done their due diligence and the test kits that they use are exemplary, and it's one of the types that has 100% success rate in determining whether the person is healthy or not, then that's a risk that they live with.
Yeah, for us, it's absolutely safety
Non-negotiable.
first. There is no question about whether you will be allowed or not. If there's no condom, there's no play.
But you see,
But
you've
there are
discussed
couples
that.
that they feel like, their circle of friends are
Close.
and they all play without condoms. But for me, there's always a risk factor of you don't know who else they might be playing with. So yeah, it's a decision that nobody can make for you. but it is a discussion that needs to happen.
We've known a lot of swingers in our time, and a lot of those swinging couples have broken up, and it's turned out that there's been infidelity in the relationship. So if that couple happened to be in a very closely knit circle of 4 couples, and one of those 4 couples, one partner of that couple was cheating, he's not exactly going to tell his wife, let alone the whole group. So yeah, he's inadvertently or purposely risking
Misled
everybody's
everybody, yeah.
health. So yeah, you put your health in the hands of strangers.
Yeah, is the
There's
few
a risk.
hours of pleasure worth the risk of
Yeah, it's
a lifetime of
risk and reward.
of misery?
But
Those
did you
are the
discuss it?
questions. Did you discuss it? Exactly. Those are the questions. And it comes back to the other question that the couples need to ask. The hardcore questions is, how many couples are we going to engage with? How many times are we going to meet per week, per month, per day, per hour, per whatever you wanted? Because all of these have a bearing not only on your health, but also your physical health, but also your mental health. And yes, couples cheating, yeah, that's a different story altogether. But exactly, if you are using condoms, if you're not using condoms, how do we draw the line? How do we feel about it? What happens if the woman is still fertile or perimenopausal and she's not using a condom and she ends up falling pregnant? How do you deal with that? Because it's not something you go into when you
Oh,
want.
geez, Louise, we haven't even touched on this, and that could be tremendous.
One
But
of
this
the
is
recurring
Oh, can you
This
imagine?
is
one of the
reality.
recurring themes that we hear, the most prevalent reason why people don't want to use condoms is because some gentlemen, perhaps because they overly endowed, struggle maintaining an erection with a condom on. So to those couples and to those gentlemen, do yourself a favor and just Google female condoms.
Yeah, let the female do it, and you don't have that restriction on your cock.
But I can also tell you, it's not only about the condom use, because if you're going to
No,
kiss somebody or you're going to engage in oral sex, you are still swapping something, whatever. You're still swapping. But the question or the point that I'm trying to make is that it's something very personal that the couple needs to discuss. If they decide that condoms is not a priority because, and this came out in my research, a lot of the participants said to me, but why do you want to use a condom if you're anyway having oral sex and kissing? Which is great. But if the couple have not discussed it, and this happens to be an issue for either one of them, it's going to create major havoc.
of course. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to mention about questions that couples need to ask before they engage. But once they've done all these hardcore questions and they've really examined not only their own wants, their own truth, their own personal truth, but also the truth of the relationship grounding and dynamic. Only then, if they've relatively ticked all the boxes, because you can never tick all the boxes, but you've relatively ticked most of the boxes, then I would advise the coach to say, okay, why don't you have a look at what it looks like at a swingers club before you just rush in there with your G-string and your nipple caps and all hell breaks loose down the line. But it is, I've coached people that have done that they've not considered everything carefully, because in their mind it was all this wonderful sex that they were going to have, and it was going to save their marriage, and life was going to be wonderful, and we were coming to utopia. And then just down the line, we're finding that these people their relationship is traumatized, it's damaged. And to fix that damage, to rebuild the trust, to rebuild confidence, not only in your relationship, but in yourself again, especially if it's the woman going, but what are you doing? Why? You kissed her and you kissed her there. What are you thinking? You know?
One of the questions that is important and could be asked is what church you go to, because obviously bumping into a couple on Sunday at service that you were shagging the night before is quite awkward.
Listen, I've got a story, but I'm not going to tell it.
I'm saying that in jest, but where I'm going with that is get to know the couple at least a little bit before you invite them over to your house. What Debbie and I do, we'll meet for a coffee date, just to face first before we take anything further, just to make sure who they are they who we think they are, and get a little bit of backstory,
Yes. Where are you going to meet your partners? That is one of the questions that's in one of my modules, explaining communication. Where are we going to meet like-minded people? Are we going to clubs? Are we going to go on a website? Are we going to go by word of mouth? How are we going to meet these people? And how do we initiate the meet process? Do we just jump in? Do we just assume by what we've seen over a WhatsApp or two? Do we Zoom? Do we Skype? How do we do this? And a lot of people don't. They just say, oh, okay, you're available and you sound pretty cool on WhatsApp, so I'll see you at the club. And then,
or worse, come over to our house.
Yes.
oh my word.
It happens, Dr. M, it happens.
Yes, they do.
So,
Yes,
so,
they do.
so let me tell you what happens, right? Obviously, with a bunch of my previous friends, we were all at a house party one day, and the one lady phoned a bill at 11:30 at night. He drove all the way from like Alberton side, all the way to the other side of Pretoria North. It's a fuck far, and he was halfway there, and she said, "Sorry, I don't want to see you anymore."
Oh my
He
gosh.
drove, so meeting people ahead of time and not setting up your negotiations, not having have conversations ahead of time, but also not inviting people over when you're in the mood at that moment is going to be cardinally important. Don't just be wise about shit like that. People really do stupid stuff
when you're horny.
when you're horny. That's the problem. It's about, and that's why these conversations are important.
Yes.
To have them when you are calm, when you're cool, and when you're collected and sober.
Yes.
Have those conversations with your partner. Have those conversations with yourself. Actually, you want to know, or you getting out of this experience what you need, and don't make these decisions. That actually stops us from making these decisions when we're horny.
Yeah, think with the right head.
But that also stops you from thinking with the right head, because oh shit, that's not what my partner and I negotiated.
Yes.
That's not what our contract says. So even though I'm horny in the minute, and my wife is all the way in Cape Town, like on a business trip, I can't be swinging now because it's not in our negotiations.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And couples need to understand that if they don't do the groundwork, any relationship that they enter into, I mean, you don't meet someone on Kur. I believe that's what it's called, Kur, this dating thing. And then the next minute you move in together and now you're being the priest for a wedding ceremony. And you get to know the person first. You chat with them. You look at their profile picture. You try and see who knows them. Who do they associate with? All of these things. And the same applies to a consensually non-monogamous relationship. If you are planning to go into that kind of lifestyle, get to know the ins and outs of it. Ask the questions. Do your due diligence. Don't just think of the many orgasms and these crazy parties and all this wonderful stuff, which is great for the couples that have sound relationships that is built on trust, understanding, communication, and respect, which means that if I give the key word and I'm going, Brandy, I don't drink, but Brandy, then he knows. Get the hell out of here. She's uncomfortable. And there is trust. I don't like this couple. Something feels off. No problem. Listen, sorry, we just got a call from the alarm company. We'll take a rain check. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't just dive in and do stupid things. The couples that have emotional maturity, that have done their groundwork, this kind of talking and at length, not just for half an hour and quickly scribbled something on a piece of paper and now we're going to go into swinging. Oh, hell no. You need to discuss this over a period of time and come back to it, because every day we change. So do ourselves, by the way. So within 7 years, our bodies change completely. But over a period of time, because today I feel this way, tomorrow I'm premenstrual, then I'm ovulating, and then I'm having my period, and there's going to be 20 different answers. Men probably just have one answer, but that's fine. But so we need to assess this at all levels over a period of time. And if you still feel inclined to engage in consensual non-monogamy, if you're still comfortable and willing to see your partner with somebody else, and you're still happy to exchange sexual encounters with other people, then only should you approach a club or something safe. Don't just go to people's houses. Start.
And that's the truth, because Dr. M said so. And she's got now. But I'm just telling you guys that's the truth, because Dr. M said so. Let's look. It is time to end the show in any case. I think everybody got the gist of where she was going with it. Dr. M, if you can hear us, I'd just like to thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. M.
Because this was, again, extremely informative. And I know when her and I discussed this episode, we just understood what we wanted out of it. So I think it's really a valuable tool that people need to know and understand before embarking on the swingers journey. So, Mr. and Mrs. Chisholm, Debbie, James, I mean, I get to see you guys like every week. I'm so excited. It's gonna be
We're also very excited.
Very
it's gonna be huge. Again, I wanted
an amazing series.
I wanted to thank you guys again
It's our
for doing
pleasure.
this. I'm so excited. It's going to be great. Listen, I'm going to go to bed because Lola hasn't slept. I'm really tired. Guys, what's coming up this week? This week, it's 2 extra shows for y'all. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, let me just get my show planning out, because I wasn't even prepared for this one. I wasn't prepared for fucking a lot of things today, but here we are. In the here and the now, and my Excel won't open, and my phone's taking forever, and now it's invoices showing, and it's still fucking loading. So, I mean, up until it's finished loading, and I can finally get my show planning open, then I can tell you guys that on Friday nights we've got Lola's lessons. Listen to that, how that flowed. Okay, I'm really impressed. Yes, guys and girls, you guys can come back and listen to Lola and Lola's lovely wifey, Carmen, with an episode called A Subtle Start to Having Some Sex. All of you folks that struggle and sickle with initiating sex, this one's going to be for you. Come and learn how to convince your partner to get into the sack when you need him or her to. Okay. Let's talk about how to initiate sex, because I think there's a lot of people that struggle with it. Carmen and I are very excited for that episode. Then I can't tell you who it is yet, because we're not releasing it until Friday. But oh gosh, no, I can't. I can't wait. I'm super excited for the co-host, guys. Super excited for the co-host for Kinky Classes. That is going to be on Wednesday evening, on Saturday evening. So Kinky Classes moves to Saturdays, guys. Lola's lifestyle lectureship is on Friday. It's on Thursdays. What the hell is going on with my brain? It's mushed. So Saturday night we are again airing Kinky Classes, and the first episode is called Cute and Kinky with a K. So we are going to be discussing how to incorporate kink in your relationship. The whole dynamic of Kinky Classes is changing completely. We aren't going to be doing hardcore BDSM. Okay, that's not what we're here to do for you guys, because we do classy kink. So that means we're going to teach all you vanilla folk how to add a little bit of kink and a little bit of spice to an intimate relationship. Don't miss it. Friday night, 9 o'clock. Saturday night, 9 o'clock. Don't miss these episodes. And it's going to be weekly. up until 10 weeks. 10 weeks we end with this season. But then KB hits the airs with Lola in lifestyle lectureships on the poly people. We'll see you guys on Friday night, same time, same place. And up until then,
And we'll see
Stay
you
safe,
next
guys.
week, Wednesday.
yes.
See you soon.
Good
Love
night,
the lots of
everybody.
you.
Bye.
Bye.